to Famicos TV, the Famicos Foundation podcast, where we spotlight the dreamers, doers, and change makers building stronger Cleveland communities. In today's episode, empowering our neighborhoods through health and heart, part of our Neighborhood Hustle series, we're celebrating local entrepreneurs and community champions who are making a real impact where it matters most. Hi, I'm your host, Adjoni Webster, the Marketing Director for Famicos Foundation. And today we're talking about something truly life-changing, and that's saving lives. Our guest has made it her mission to teach people how to protect their families, neighbors, and communities through CPR and first aid training. Please welcome Adjoni Williams, the owner and heart behind Zeebees Heartsavers, a Cleveland-based small business helping residents gain the skills and confidence to respond in an emergency.
Thank you.
Welcome. But hold on, before we dive all the way in, I have to first congratulate Adjoni Williams for being selected as this year's recipient of the Outstanding Small Business Award. Each year, we, Famicos Foundation, select a small business operating in our service neighborhoods that leads with excellence, creativity, and heart, that not only demonstrates outstanding performance and innovation, but also uplifts others through its commitment to the community, development, economic empowerment, and neighborhood pride. So there, I am sitting here with this year's recipient. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just get right down to it. Let's just start from the beginning. Who are you and what is Zeebees Heartsavers?
Absolutely. So my name is Adjoni Williams. I am the product of a family of athletes. So basketball is our life, genuinely. Mm-hmm. My parents played, my siblings played. I have a niece that plays right now in the WNBA. My nephew was playing basketball the day he collapsed.
Oh, wow.
And so that is the source of who I am. That's where I come from. Zeebees Heartsavers came about in 2021 when my nephew was playing in his high school senior year at Shaw High School. And I want to kind of reference that or make a point that AED machines were not regulated in the state of Ohio before 2024.
Really?
Right. So you can go into any type of recreational area, a gym, a church, anywhere, and you would not find an AED machine. However, this small inner city school, being Shaw High School, and not the greatest reputation, had an AED machine. He was playing in his high school game that day. He literally dunked on this guy. It was real nice too. It was a good dunk. We were excited about it. He sits on the bench and it goes into halftime, and the young man who was FaceTiming us, he starts yelling in the phone. And it's COVID time. We couldn't be in the gym. We weren't allowed to be around at all. And so he's like, Zeebee's having a seizure. And I didn't believe him. And that's my ignorance, right? So I'm like, what do you want? I'm typing back to him, why are you yelling into the phone? And it wasn't until he turned that phone and we saw Zeebee face forward on the ground. And so in that moment, having worked in public health and in hospitals for more than 15 years at that time, I did not understand the realities of sudden cardiac arrest until it happened to me. Mm-hmm. And so from there, I decided, from that day, two of his 16-year-old teammates knew CPR. They immediately started compressions. They got the AED machine. They applied it to his chest. His athletic director was involved. The EMT was called. They arrived within that 12-minute mark. Zeebee was shocked quite a few times that night with the AED machine. And then he was placed into a medically induced coma. And 2 weeks later, he had open heart surgery. Today, he has no mental, physical, or cognitive issues at all. Yes, ma'am. So I teach this class so that people are aware and that they get it. And especially in Cleveland, we have a high crime rate. And so a part of my business is teaching first aid classes. So I need people to understand what it's like to stop the bleed of a person with a gunshot wound, to be completely clear, right? Mm-hmm. Or to restart a person's heart, hopefully, if you were to witness them collapse on the ground or at a gym or at school, at a podcast, anywhere. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So you definitely just dove right into my next question, why this education is needed, especially in our communities. Again, you knew it was needed indirectly, but when it directly affected you, you were like, okay, because even you being educated on what it is and how to combat it, until you were directly affected by it. It was like, whoa, okay. So your mission, a good segue, is focused on empowering people with life-saving skills. So just tell us some of the training programs that you provide and what those look like.
Absolutely. So since that time, I became accredited by the American Heart Association and the American Red Cross. And so I teach everybody. I teach kids that are 5 years old who just want to come and see what it looks like to play with these little dolls I have at events. I teach professionals who's done this for 40 years and they learn new things every time they come to my classes. I teach young adults who are just interested, and it makes me happy. Especially in our community, and especially in our different atmospheres that we go visit. Right. So you have some spaces where it may be more of a medical setting, but then you have some spaces where I'm at an event and it's just about basketball and music. I make sure I show up so that those kids know that anybody can collapse anytime. And CPR is a little bit more than just being a hero. It's about your team camaraderie. It's about team management and understanding what to do and when to do it and why do we need to do it.
So that's good, because you're talking about the different types of people who you have serviced or helped with, becoming experts, so to speak, or not just heroes, but kind of being able to be an expert in those said fields. So knowing that you've trained like these everyday people, the parents, the teachers, church groups, how does it feel to see the confidence and courage that you're helping build?
You know what? I do not understand my reach until I realize somebody in this city has come to an event and learned from me, or somebody has approached my table and they've never learned before, but then they walk away and they're like, oh, I got this. That's all it is. Yeah. That's all it is caring. I do like to emphasize, you don't care until you have to care. And in my scenario, I did not care until I had to care. And so now, for my own community, I want us to care. I want us to understand, heart disease could lead to sudden cardiac arrest. It could lead to heart attacks. It's a separation in that, but it's always some education behind everything that we're learning, that we're doing, that we go about on our everyday lives. And so I try to emphasize that in everything that I teach, in every class. We're doing opioid overdoses. We're talking about stopping the bleed. Yes, ma'am. So it goes deep into everything that we face on a realistic basis, realistic community guidelines that we don't have and we don't really adhere to most of the time.
Yeah. And so you're mostly, right now, I know that you're mobile, so you go wherever you're needed and who actually connects with you. So in the underserved areas, right? So that's where Famicos Foundation, we serve our underserved, and so do you, Glenville, Huff, and beyond. How have you been able to connect with residents or partner with organizations like Famicos to help successfully execute your mission,
Absolutely. I have had the absolute privilege of being invited to so many health events in our communities. And at every event, I am teaching hands-on and hands-only CPR. So whether you have your 3-year-old kid next to you or if you have your grandmother with you, I invite you to my table to come and learn. I have taken the time to go to different schools. I teach at events. People are happy to see me because I am me. And I'm okay with that too.
Oh, I love that. I am me. I love that.
Because I am me.
Yes.
And so, there's a million instructors, and it's okay, but they're just not who I am and what I embody for Zeebees Heartsavers. So when I'm at these health events, when I go to schools, when I'm just on Instagram, I'm making sure people understand, this is a small part of life, but it's a part of life that we all should learn at some point.
Yeah. Now, has there been any, let's just talk on the professional and the business side. Has there been any business challenges that you have faced that was kind of hard to really execute that mission of yours?
Yes.
And what were they?
There are, obstacles are there for a reason, to help you just develop to where you need to go next. I would say that my outreach, maybe. Some people, you don't trust who you don't trust. And you may have had an instructor already and they come to your business, and they're already instructing your employees. And so sometimes it kind of leaves you out, where it's like, no, we have somebody, we don't want to learn from you. But I also have recognized that you don't care until you have to care. So unless I'm able to relay why I care so much, I can't expect my community to care too. So when you do come to class and I start the class with that story, and I hand you a first aid kit and we're talking about it, and it's like, oh my, it could happen to me. It could happen to you. It could, right? So it's an emphasis on what we need to know versus what we feel like we should know. And I feel like CPR and first aid is a need at this point.
That's very good. That's almost philosophical, but it's also real life. What you just said. I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
So, with the challenges that you've just said that you kind of faced and were able to overcome, what type of advice would you give to someone else? Because I mean, you know, we're all partnered in this thing together. This thing we call life. We're all partners in that. And what comes with that is that we have to make sure that we help each other, that we help grow each other, we help enhance each other whatever we can and not compete. And so I'm asking you, just off the strength of what you've just shared, if there is someone who wanted to be that impactful, what advice would you give them?
No one has the abilities that you have. No other instructor is me. I am not them. It is perfectly fine to go out and find your crowd. There's always going to be somebody who is attracted to you, who is drawn to you, who needs to learn from you, who wants to learn from you. It's you. It has nothing to do with anything else aside from what you bring to what you love. So I love CPR. I'll talk about it all day long. And I need water after a while, right? But then you have some people who are doing it because they're doing it. And that's okay. But for me, it's more so of it's a life, it's a lifestyle, it's a meaningful impact where you have to feel it in order for other people to feel you. I feel where people come from, where they're like, oh my God, I didn't know CPR, I didn't even know you don't have to do mouth to mouth anymore. I know you did, but I got you.
They got rid of mouth to mouth?
They did.
That was nasty anyway,
it is.
But
I was
like,
that's right.
I'm gonna save your life. Think about it though.
That's right.
So that's no longer a thing.
That's right.
Why is that? Just curious.
Yeah. So as of 2020, the American Heart Association, to be specific, first of all, we recognize that about 70% of Americans are not willing to do CPR, whether you are a woman who needs CPR or a person that you do not know, right? If I don't know that person, I'm not putting my mouth down there either. I don't want to suffer the consequences tomorrow.
Yeah.
However, your compressions going at least 2 inches deep into that person's chest allows for the oxygen that's in your blood. It goes back into your heart and then back to your brain. So when you're in cardiac arrest, your function stops. So the rhythm of your heart is completely depleted or is completely halted, right? Yeah. So your brainwave activity is also halted. So at that time, when I'm pressing into your chest, I'm literally just moving the blood and oxygen back to your brain to hopefully preserve your brainwave activity. Okay. So then if you are resuscitated, you're not a but a vegetable. So in Zeebee's case, he was they administered CPR within 12 minutes. They had used the AED machine. And he today has no mental, physical, or cognitive issues. And it's all due to quick actions of CPR. He did not receive mouth-to-mouth that day. Okay. He did receive the compressions, and he did get the AED machine placed on his chest.
Now, Zeebee, that's your nephew,
yes.
And the company's named after him. And the inspiration behind you beginning this business.
Yes.
So with cardiac arrest, right? So, I mean, we've seen it, you know, on TV. We've heard about it. I think LeBron James' son, yes. And then the one player, I'm sorry, I forget his name, but Buffalo Bills. Yes, yeah. So we've seen it happen. So yes. Are there not any signs or warnings before that happens?
Yeah, so I want people to understand too that there's a difference in a heart attack and sudden cardiac arrest. Okay. So a heart attack is, I can explain it the best by saying like the music is turning down. I can alert you. I can say, oh, I'm so hot. I'm hot. My chest is tight. Help me, right? Mm-hmm. Sudden cardiac arrest is music stopped. Ooh. Okay. So in that event, your heart is completely halted. You have no pulse. You have no rhythm. I have to do CPR. Yeah. Heart attack, you don't have to do CPR immediately. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for sudden cardiac arrest, what we have learned is that it happens in a lot of young athletes, especially right now, as we can see. Mm-hmm. There aren't always signs. So the sudden part, it literally comes from an undiagnosed issue. Okay. So for Zeebee, he had an anomaly where there was just a tiny hole in his aorta that ruptured that day, which then led to his seizure and then ultimately his cardiac arrest. Mm-hmm. Where you have Damar Hamlin, we don't know his exact medical record. Yeah. Yes, mm-hmm. Yep, for the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. But his sudden cardiac arrest could have come from impact. But we don't know if he also had an anomaly, right? Okay. Sudden cardiac arrest could be diagnosed at birth. Mm-hmm. You could just literally have an anomaly like Zeebee, and it just was never checked, or they never really thought anything would happen. So Zeebee received all of his physicals, EKGs, heart monitors, scans, stress tests, anything, but nothing ever showed that little that little anomaly would rupture in that way that day. So I love to emphasize to my students, my coaches, my parents, to please just go get a physical. Okay. Like, it's okay to go get a physical and request an EKG. That's where you're able to check the rhythm of your heart.
And you can really be able to see and tell if there are some issues that needs to be addressed right away.
That's right.
That is so interesting, because for something to be so sudden, there are ways it can be prevented.
So sudden cardiac arrest isn't always preventable, right? So if I don't know that I have like this anomaly, or if it has always been checked and it's just been there, right? It's just sitting dormant. I wouldn't really be afraid of it happening. So for our young athletes, they're athletes. My nephew is a 6'3". Well, then he was a 6'3", 160-pound kid. So in our minds, that's a healthy kid, right?
For sure.
But until you dig deeper, and most of the time when we go get our physicals, you don't get an EKG automatically. So it is something that I like as a patient advocate, I like for people to request it. It's not that much more on your insurance bill. Most of the time we don't look at it, but that EKG will give you a deeper reading of what your heart is doing at that moment.
That is so interesting. So I will say, I have 3 children. I have my son, he's 10. He'll be 11 this year, but he's a tall boy. And then I have twin girls, and they're 8.
Oh,
yes, pray for me. But they're amazing as well. But with both of my pregnancies, we did the CPR training, and we did all of that. And I remember going in, because prior to being pregnant with my son, I wasn't CPR training. I was like, I don't really. But then just, you hear, you should be, and you need to be because you're having this child, and, all of that stuff that comes with being a first-time mom. And I remember going to the training that day. I was extremely nervous. I cannot tell you why, Adjoni, why I was nervous, but I was nervous. And then getting in there and just like hearing you now, listening to things that could happen if you don't know this technique and that technique and so forth. And I think when I look back on why my nerves were there, it's because now I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray you down, honey. Okay, I will pray. You gonna hear it, they gonna go to heaven.
That's right.
But physically being responsible, if I'm at that moment to help someone, being physically responsible for possibly saving their life. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So I realized today, from 10 years ago, that may have been my hesitant and nervousness kicking in because of that. So my question to you is, what would you say to someone now and today who's hesitant to sign up for a class?
Just go to my website and sign up. Just go sign up as soon as you can, right? You know what? I pride myself on being a millennial teacher.
Okay. All right.
So when you walk in, I'm set up, but I also have music playing. And every single song that I'm playing is going to help you memorize your compression set, right? So you have to go 2 inches deep, but you have between 100 and 120 compressions per minute. So I play Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Vanilla Ice, Staying Alive. Whatever you request, right? And it's literally to make sure people are understanding the rhythm and the beat and the depth that you have to do CPR.
Ooh, that's good.
So when you're walking out and you're like, I can do CPR to Bruno Mars, and you're thinking about it that way, versus, I might break her rib and I'm going to hear organs moving and I'm going to, and she might not survive. That's the reality. Right. But the fun part of class is that it's just practice. Just come in and practice with me. So when you get there, this little snack on the table, you're in your water in, the music is playing, let's talk, let's chat. I want to make sure that you are calm, because I did witness it. And most people have never witnessed a cardiac arrest, right? So most people are just like, I've been taking this class forever. I've always worked in hospitals. So the next question is, have you ever done CPR though?
Right.
So unless you have done it, it's never really if you've never done it, it's more so of a reality check when you get to class, and it's like, these mannequins, make sure I do it 2 inches deep, and I don't have to do mouth to mouth anymore. Well, those are the things that's going to help this person survive versus you walk away and not help at all.
Yeah, I definitely won't walk away, but I think that's definitely comforting to know. The comfort is that knowing that you would be that person, that would be the person to help this person survive, but just knowing that you are the person that could help this this person survive. So I get it, and I think that's really awesome that you use something that's comforting for people and familiar. Again, we bring up the generation millennial. Yes, we are the best generation. Just saying.
Thank you.
But
so
yes. But that's really good. So, what is is next for Zeebee Heartsavers?
I'm going to continue to grow. Yeah. So currently I do at least about 10 to 15 events a year. At every single event, I am teaching CPR. So you're going to run into a kid who's maybe 7 and they're like, I learned CPR. You can't tell me anything.
So what's your age range?
I do not cut off anybody. So if you come into my class and you just had a newborn, bring your newborn. Okay. Because me demonstrating on a mannequin is not the same as you doing it on your child. Person, right? Mm-hmm. So bring your newborn, or we can go from K to 8. So even though it's a little bitty baby, it's more so like a mommy and me or auntie and me or my mini me, right?
Sure.
It's just those type of classes where I'm demonstrating to you what to do. So they'll learn to run and get the phone, right? And then you'll have an 8-year-old who I can actually demonstrate the CPR compressions and make sure they can do it right. Mm-hmm. So I've taught so many children who are with their grandparents at the events, which makes sense. So they get it. So that they're like, the CPR lady taught me how to do this. Like, don't do it on anybody.
Right. Unless you have to.
That's right. Check your pulse first.
Right.
But they're familiar with it. Mm-hmm. And so I love this. I'm sorry. But I love what I do. I love what I do a lot. And so the age ranges don't always matter, but it's more so of the classes that I'm teaching. So if you need a class for like nursing school, you'll just come along. Mm-hmm. But for my K through 8, they have cards. They have first aid cards. I've had my Girl Scout troops come and learn with me. I've taught at schools. Mm-hmm. And, that matters to me. I need these kids to know these small skills right now.
So what's coming up now? You have anything that's coming up pretty soon?
Yes. Okay. I have another event. Is it with? No, I have an event on this November 7th. Mm-hmm. It is with Ward 5. We're going to do a health community event again. Mm-hmm. I'll be teaching hands-on CPR. I'll have my little first aid kits that I give out to people just to give them a reminder, use these Band-Aids. Right. And remember CPR if you need it. Yeah. And then immediately after, I'll luckily be invited to NICE Foundation's Foundation's fundraiser.
That's a plug. Thank you.
Yes, it is. And then I am going to continue to grow with the American Heart and the American Red Cross. Just their mission, our missions align, of course. Mm-hmm. I do own Zeebees Heartsavers, but my community owns it as well. Mm-hmm. I can't exist if I can't teach anybody. So I try to teach as many people that'll listen. Clearly, I won't stop talking.
Amen. Amen. I mean, that's beautiful. So how can people reach you? Give all your information, how they can reach you, how they can sign up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can reach me on my website, zeebesheartsavers.com. My email, cpr@zeebesheart.org, cpr@zeebesheart.org. Or I also text all the time, 216-333-5133. Lucky numbers, of course, blessed numbers.
I love it.
So, yes. I am reachable via Instagram, Facebook, website. Learn more about me. Mm-hmm. Ask me questions. I absolutely do a lot during the holiday season. So for Thanksgiving, we'll be able to do a turkey drive and then a coat drive for Christmas.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. That is beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so I want to have a little fun.
Yes.
Before we wrap all this up. Okay. So this is called the quick fire round. So I'm going to ask you a question, all right? And the first thing that comes to your mind, that's your answer.
Okay.
Quickly. All right, you ready?
I think. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Coffee or tea to start your day?
Tea.
One word that describes Zeebees Heartsavers.
Heart.
Sugar or no sugar in grits?
No sugar.
That was why it was so hard for me to ask that question, because definitely have sugar in your grits. Favorite Cleveland neighborhood?
St. Clair.
The best part of what you do?
Community.
I love it. All right, Adjoni, thank you for being here. It was such a pleasure. Before we wrap up, is there one message you just want to leave with our listeners and viewers right now?
I do. You know what? CPR saves lives, but it takes us first. I want everyone to understand the easy part of CPR, and then the hardest part is when you just think that you cannot do it. That's the only hard part of CPR. If you come and meet me, then you'll know that it's easy to do CPR. But I definitely want my community to understand and to buy into the knowledge that I want to give in regard to heart disease, sudden cardiac arrest, heart attacks, high blood pressure. It's so much that goes into this. So outside of Zeebees Heartsavers, I am still a patient advocate. Ask those questions after class. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. Sit and ask, and then walk away with your certification that same day.
So it's same day certification?
Yes.
Oh,
it is electronic.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So that actually is a great segue. That was a great response, because you maybe on the same wavelength with me right now. And that is a great segue into my final thought. It actually comes from the book of 3 John, verse 1. And here is where John expresses his wishes for his friend Gaius to enjoy good health, both physically and spiritually. He prays for his physical health. He prays for his soul as well. And so that translates into our neighborhoods that you serve and that we serve at Famicos Foundation. And we can see how deeply that's those two are linked. Because when a community is healthy, when people have access to care, a safe place to live, nourishing food, hearts are lifted. And when hearts are lifted, hope rises. So empowering our neighborhoods through health and heart means caring for both, tending to the needs that we can see, the ones that we can't. It's checking in on our neighbor, supporting local wellness programs, and building spaces where people can thrive together, just as you are doing right now and have done, Adjoni. So as we continue this work, let's remember, wellness is more than the absence of sickness. It's the presence of love, connection, and compassion, because when our hearts are healthy, our communities grow strong. So again, may we keep walking in health, may we keep serving with heart, and may God continue to empower us. Again, Miss Adjoni Williams of Zeebees Heartsavers and this year's recipient of Famicos Outstanding Small Business Award. Thank you for coming in and chatting with us about all that you do. And please, please, please keep up the good work, continuing your empowerment, continuing to grow with us and for us.
I will.
And to all of you listening and watching, Famicos Foundation is proud to support health, safety, and empowerment across all Cleveland neighborhoods. You can learn more at famicos.org. Until next time, my friends, stay safe and be blessed.